I've been looking forward to this. Hi there, I'm Mike. What I have for you today is Star Wars The Black Series Count Dooku. Finally. Go ahead and take a look at a picture of him while I read the bio on the back of the box. Count Dooku was a menacing Sith Lord and central figure in the Clone Wars. Once a Jedi, he became disillusioned with the Jedi Order and thirsted for great power. Here he is out of the box, and whew, this gives me chills holding him in my hand. As the bio says, Count Dooku was a disillusioned Jedi. Actually, he was Yoda's apprentice, which is kind of a fun little fact. Anyways, at some point he was turned to the dark side by Darth Sidious, who was, Chancellor Palpatine. Who knows when? I'm sure there's some comic or book out there explaining the exact timeline. But all you need to know is by the events of Episode 2, he was the Sith apprentice after Darth Maul died, and he recruited Jango Fett into being the clone template, and that's how we got the Clone Wars. He led the Separatists in their movement, while Palpatine led the Republic in their movement, but he was kind of controlling both sides. You see, they were playing against each other. That was the whole thing. He was featured pretty heavily in Attack of the Clones, and at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, I guess.
Kill him. Kill him now.
But he was also featured pretty regularly in the Clone Wars cartoon. Both versions, the Genndy Tartakovsky one and the 3D animated one, which I loved. Dooku himself was played by the legendary actor Christopher Lee. Rest in peace, Christopher Lee. Sir Christopher Lee? I'm just gonna assume he was that cool. Honestly, I could list all the different things that Christopher Lee was in, but I'm just gonna leave you with this quick clip here.
I shed the blood of 4,000 Saxon men. I shed blood of Saxon men. I shed the blood of the Saxon men. I shed the blood of the Saxon men.
If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, I don't know what will. But he played Count Dooku as well as many other villains in many movies across time and space. So when we come to the looks, which is the first part of my review, does he look like he should? And I have to say, absolutely. He looks like Christopher Lee to a T. This is one of the best likenesses to Christopher Lee I feel like we could get in a 6-inch scale. He's got the wide-eyed look, he's got the set jaw. I don't know what it is, man. He just looks so good. And since he's only in kind of the 1 and 1/10 movies,
Kill him. Kill him now.
this is the only outfit he ever wears. He just has the one outfit. So they got it. Black clothes, cape, you got it all. So they really nailed the look here. I'm gonna give it the full point. Next, let's talk accessories. What does he come with? What should he have come with? Very obviously, he's a Sith. He has a lightsaber. His lightsaber is famously curved. When they first showed it off back in the early aughts, I guess, I thought it was weird. Like, this is a weird lightsaber handle. Why is it curved like this? But I don't know, after seeing him use it, it's fine. It's like a fencer's kind of thing. The lightsaber itself has a lot of great molding with black and silver paint all over where is appropriate. It does have the prequels flavored little quick release nubbin that plugs right into his belt, something that's been sorely missing from a lot of Black Series figures recently. Thankfully, they did not make that mistake with Count Dooku here. He could put it right on his belt, as you can see here. Alternatively, in his hands, he can hold it, which is, good. The lightsaber blade itself is red. It is easily removable, which is another thing that's been happening recently, where it's been very scary to put lightsaber blades in and take them off because it's been too tight or the stem's too long or something. But this is not a problem. I haven't had any issues getting it in and out. And that's good because on top of this regular lightsaber standard blade we have, Hasbro's also trying something new and giving us this little, I don't know if it's animated, it's not the right term here, but it's sort of an action saber pose where you can stick it in and give it the illusion of movement. And it's something that honestly kind of hurts my eyes when I look at it. It is a darker red on one side and it kind of transitions into a lot more translucent to give it, like I said, the illusion that it's being swung or moved. I like the idea of what Hasbro's doing here. I applaud them for their initiative, but I don't think it really translates well. I don't think it's wide enough. I don't care about this. If they had not come with this, I wouldn't have been sad. I'm probably never gonna display them with it. It's gonna sit in the box and that's it. But like I said, I like that Hasbro's trying new things. I just don't necessarily think that this kind of makes the cut. So what should he have come with instead of this? Well, I mean, it would have been cool to have some sort of like blaster effects, like especially if you have a lightsaber. Deflecting blaster bolts, electricity, lots of stuff like that. They come with lots of things like that for the Power Rangers. They could have come with something like that for the lightsaber. And I feel like that would have been better than this little slightly wedge-shaped lightsaber thing. But the big thing, the glaring omission that Dooku is missing is alternate hands with lightning coming out of it. Now, if you have the Emperor that came out at the end of last year, his lightning hands can fit into here. I didn't even have to heat up the wrist on this guy to pull his hand off. I just put some even but firm pressure until it just popped right out, and then I popped the Emperor's hand right in. It's a little too small. It doesn't really fit right, but it's really hard to notice, and I like the effect. So if you want to give Dooku lightning hands and you have the Emperor, you can put them on him, at least one on him, and have that going on. But Dooku should have come with his own. It was a no-brainer. Dooku clearly used it against Yoda. It would have been really cool to have that effect going on. So because of that omission, I'm going to give it a 0.5. It really should have come with that, and I don't know why they didn't do it. Next, let's take a look at his articulation. Dooku's head has two joints, one at the base of the skull, another at the base of the neck. It gives him a wide range of movement this way. He has a butterfly joint at the shoulder that allows him to move his arm back and forth like this. It moves out that far, all the way around. He has a single jointed elbow that allows him to move his arm up that far, and it has a swivel. He has a hinge at the wrist as well as a swivel. This one hinges this way. He has a torso joint that allows for a swivel. It moves forward a little bit, back a little bit, not a lot. His leg can move forward this far, back, kinda. He has a very loose upper thigh swivel, a single jointed knee, as well as a swivel at the knee. He has a hinge at the ankle, as well as a rocker. With this being Dooku's widest stance with both his feet flat on the ground. You know, for being an old dude, Dooku's got some moves. His neck has that new joint system at the base of the skull and the shoulders, where he can move freely up and down. He has a wide range of movement, but not as wide as some of the other figures with it. It's cool that he has it. His hair would have definitely stopped the sculpt from looking back. So with that extra range of movement, he can definitely look back more than he would have without it. So it is nice. He also sports the new butterfly shoulder system, which is great. So you can get him into some cool lightsaber poses with his arms closer together because his shoulders can move like this, and that's fantastic as well. His torso doesn't have hardly any movement. It can do a little side to side, but does almost nothing forwards and backwards. His leg is also hindered by the bottom of his skirt. It's hard molded plastic and just hinder how far forward and back it can go. Not a lot, but it is. And then also, much like the Knight of Ren, he has this weird single jointed knee that I'm just not a fan of. In this case, I do feel like there's more sculpt for it not to break up than the Knight of Ren had, but I don't really feel like it's necessary. He could have had the normal double jointed legs and been fine. But in this case, they opted for the single jointed knee that has a swivel on it, and it's just a weird choice. I'm just not a fan of this decision, and I really hope that they don't do this too much more often. So because of the weird choices they've made and the lack of the torso manipulation, I'm going to give it a 0.75. Not too much of a dip, because there's a lot there, but just a little bit. Next, we have paint and sculpt and detail. So I've already talked about the face and how spot on the face is, but the rest of the figure is also really good. The problem is that due to what Count Dooku's wearing in the movie, there's just not a lot going on there. He's wearing a black sculpted tunic. It got buttons on this side and that's sculpted in, but it doesn't move or anything. His belt is painted and that's nice. It's kind of brown that stands out against the black. Maybe it's red. I'm colorblind and I never asked my wife what color it was. I forgot. His pants and his boots, everything's just kind of black. I mean, he's a Sith Lord. Of course it is. That's what he's supposed to be wearing. He's a bad guy. He's dressed like it. There's just not a lot of detail going on. So normally I'd say, kind of boring. But let's talk about the cape. The cape here is the real draw. The cape is black on the outside and it looks fantastic. It's soft goods, it hangs really well, it's got a decent amount of weight to it. I really love what they did with the cape here. The problem with the cape is the chain. The chain holding it to his chest is actually molded into the chest. So you can't take it off, unlike I think Darth Vader had an actual chain going across, and that looked better, but it wasn't necessarily kind of like, you know, pinned down, whereas this is pinned to the chest. But it's a dull gray plastic. It really doesn't look very good. The cape is great, but the chain is a weird option. That coupled with just not a lot of other stuff going on with the paint and sculpt there, I'm gonna give it a 0.75. It looks like you should, and what they did is fine, but I'm gonna dock it just a little bit because that chain, kind of a letdown. So let's talk about want and availability. Did I want this? And the answer is, if you've been paying attention to my channel,
I've been looking forward to this.
absolutely. I think he's been in every of my top 10 wish list videos ever made. From the first one to the most recent one. I think he actually wasn't in there because he'd been announced, so I didn't put him on there. But he would have been had he not been announced, because Count Dooku is a figure that I've wanted since the line started. I don't know why. I just do. I did, and now is the perfect time, because if they'd done it back in the day, he wouldn't have had a good face sculpt, and now he does. So I'm glad they waited. So yeah, the want is there. Episode 2, probably, it's not a good Star Wars, it's not a good movie. It's just not a good movie, but I like the character. I love Count Dooku. But let's talk availability. How hard is he to find? The answer is, I have no idea. I don't know what it looks like out there in Toy World now. I haven't heard of any reports of him being found in stores. I bought mine online. I bought him from Dorkside Toys. He came shipped to me with the rest of the last wave. I think a lot of people are reporting that you can get him now in May, because the order's been pushed out that far because he's a popular character. Prequels characters are popular right now. It's kind of fun. He has only packaged one per case, and I feel like that was a mistake. Count Dooku is probably going to be one of the popular ones from the wave, and only having one of them in the box means he's going to be contentious to find at the very least once he's in stores. Again, I ordered mine online, and with the whole pandemic going on, I recommend you order yours online too. I know it's not as fun. Hunting for toys is fun. You gotta do what you gotta do with the times that are there. So I recommend just picking your favorite online retailer, ordering them, and just waiting until you get them. He's worth it. He's worth the wait. So I'm gonna give him the full point for want and availability, because it's my review and I found him just fine. So that leaves us with a final score of 4 out of 5. He's not the best figure in the wave, but he's not a bad figure in the least. He does have a couple things that I just wish were a little better. Number 1, the accessories are a big problem for me. Number 2, I feel like that chain is, it's weird how much of a letdown it is for me, but it is. And it's my opinion, and that it's my channel, it's my review. That's what I'm giving it to you. If you don't care about it so much, then it's not a big deal for you, but it is, weirdly enough, for me. So, if you love prequels characters, if you have a Sith collection going on, I mean, Darth Tyrannus is a must-have in any Sith collection. I do recommend picking him up, unless you just don't care about him, then don't. But don't buy him because he's not a good toy, because he is. He's a very good toy. And with that, that is my review for Darth Tyrannus, Count Dooku himself. Let me know down in the downstairs area what you thought of the video, the review. Do you have it? Did this make you want it? Are you don't have reservations because of my review? I don't know. Let me know. I love to read and respond to all of those. I'd also love to take a moment to thank these people here for supporting me on Patreon, a level of Black Series or higher. It does go a long way to help out the channel, so thank you very much, folks. If you want to see your name on this list, you can check out my Patreon down in the downstairs area below, or up somewhere up in the top. There's always stuff to click on. If Patreon's not your thing, I totally get it. Down in the downstairs area, there's a couple different ways that you can help out my channel that are free, such as liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting the bell. All that stuff goes a long way to helping out the channel still. It doesn't cost as much. And with that, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for getting this far, and I'll see you later. Bye.